What TV show trope needs to retire? The always present sad story for every freaking person on talent shows. Same with Shark Tank. Sorry, whimper, it's just the financial crisis hit us so hard in '08 sobbing, and we sunk everything we had into this solar-powered flashlight. Someone will usually make an offer, while Kevin says it's a shoot idea. My wife and I were watching Chopped and a woman told one of those stories and said she'd give the prize money to some kind of medical research. A little bit later, they asked another contestant what he would do with the money and he said he'd go out and buy a badass car. I couldn't stop laughing. He's my favorite all-time talent show contestant, writing in a relationship crisis for the main couple just to keep things interesting, or keeping apart two people who would have fricked 6 seasons ago if it were real life, because the writers are milking the romantic tension to death. That's because the minute they do get together the show dies falling into the graveyard morass of other such shows. Laughs in The Office. Hard-working mother that does literally everything while the dad is a dopey dumbass that fricks everything up. Also, she's hot and he's a slob. This is why the Addams Family is the best sitcom family ever. Both Morticia and Gomez work as a unit to give their children the best lives possible and are fiercely and passionately in love with each other. When characters have every reason to just talk or say a very obvious thing out loud but won't, in order to artificially inflate and extend a conflict. And when characters get extra dumb suddenly to create pointless conflict to pad episodes. A similar trope, or maybe a subcategory of that trope, is when character A has something very important to say, but character B keeps interrupting them and talking over them, and character A doesn't get to say what they needed to say, which leads to disastrous consequences. In real life, if someone won't let you talk, but what you have to say is extremely important, you don't just give up, you yell. I am very shy and introverted and I hate interrupting people, but even I would just yell in that scenario. And when characters get extra dumb suddenly to create pointless conflict to pad episodes. Ah yes, they were holding the idiot ball, the misunderstanding, which usually involves someone saying wait, I can explain, before the other person storms off. Entire storylines built off misunderstandings or miscommunications are just boring and frustrating. Edit. Okay, I will agree. There are exceptions to this. For comedy it can work well if done properly, like when Holly meets Kevin in the office and thinks he has special needs. Hilarious. But how else would you fill a feature length with a Pixar short's worth of content? Casting glamorous looking 25-year-olds as 15-year-olds. Not only does it take me out of the setting, but it affects teen self-image and probably also affects how adults see kids. I understand that when portraying certain subject matter, there are a lot less hoops to jump through if you don't cast a minor. But at least cast a babyface 21-year-old and don't dress them like they just got off a shoot for Vogue. Yes, also shows about high schoolers that would make way more sense as college students. Why are these 16-year-old characters never in school and have unlimited access to cars? My daughter watches shows with this type of character. I get confused a lot when someone in a horror movie picks up a weapon, uses it on whatever's chasing them and then fricking drops it. Like, you can still use that weapon, come on. Or they knock down the assailant but don't take their weapon while they're stunned. I hate this so much. Like, dude has a gun. Why are you running away? Just take it and shoot him or at least throw it in the river or something. Jesus Christ. Doubly so for zombie movies TV shows. It'd be going everywhere with a spear and 2 blades axes. Minimum. That's not even mentioning some kind of bite-resistant protection for arms and the neck. He's a part-time musician. She's a waitress. Feel look for living in a 0000000 house. Edit. In my neck of the woods in North Carolina. 00K buys a big house. I've been rediscovering the Monkees TV show. The writing is tropey but fast-paced and still very clever. 4 barely employed musicians just out of their teens, living in a California beach house, and a custom GTO with a forced induction blower through the hood, and the most expensive drums and guitars Gretsch made. It's pure fantasy and I love it. Fully furnished 0000000 house. People with average jobs living in swanky, expensive places. Oh, this 4000 SF urban industrial downtown loft? It's just where my garage band practices. Was looking for this. Friends. Will and Grace. Any movie set in New York. New Girl, Sex and the City, the list goes on. Real life reason, easier to film in big rooms. Geeky, socially awkward girl who becomes a super empowered and confident raconteur when she swaps her glasses for contact lenses and gets a makeover and a sundress. Not another teen movie really shoulder killed this one dead. It's basically Katy Perry during the last Friday Night music video. Morgue worker coroner tech or tipsy tech eating lunch right next to her body. We don't do that. Even if you were willing to eat next to her body, why would you? It's work. Eat at break lunchtime. Enhance that. Right double quotation mark. That's all the resolution we have. Making bigger doesn't make it clearer. It does on CSI Miami. I have an old photo of mine taken in kindergarten. I would like someone to enhance it and tell me what was in the wall behind me. Is it just a lizard or something else? If I know correctly, the agent would find the lizard and bring it to justice for photobombing. I really hate when the child is way more emotionally intelligent than they ought to be. Gandhi type wisdom coming from a 6-year-old. I think movies are worse about this than TV, but it still happens. Billy example I can think of right now is the movie The Ultimate Gift. Good movie, but it's definitely guilty of this trope, which in my opinion takes away, not adds. Edit. 8 hours later and nobody pointed out that I said Billy example. I don't know how that happened and I don't remember what I was trying to say, but the only must be Billy. Usually, those kids will speak like the 30-year-old who wrote their script, using words that even most adults don't know. We had a show here in the UK called Outnumbered, and one of the things they did that was really clever was to have the kids improvise their lines rather than read from a script. What made this really good was the fact that, rather than talking like Manny from Modern Family, they spoke like actual kids, with the same faltering speech patterns and disjointed sentences of actual 5 and 6-year-olds who struggle to string a sentence together. OMG, you put my biggest cinema pet peeve into words. Thank you. I've always found this kinda stuff so ridiculously cringy and weird. If some dude dies off screen, i.e. in an explosion, they almost always end up returning. Only way characters did is if they're outright shot in the face. Cough Kingsman cough. Guy continues to pursue woman even after she said no, and his persistence eventually pays off. Do this in real life and 90% of the time it's harassment, and 90% of the rest of the time, it doesn't work anyway. Because why would they change what kind of guy they're interested in? Don't forget it's partner trope. Girl, no I don't want to be with you guy. Oh, okay. Turns to leave. Girl, OMG why didn't you fight for me? Someone overhearing a conversation through a door, but only hearing half the conversation and thinking the person was insulting them. The insulted person then gets angry but never says why, only saying something stupid like you know what you said. It's so contrived. If characters just used their freaking words instead of going MEN, I am RNG Rye. 1. This conflict would never happen. Even as a kid I figured out that was the plot to nearly every episode of Three's Company. OMG Shrek. Love the first. It's a classic. But I can't stand that misunderstanding. The horror movie victim who flees upstairs, the horror movie victims who do not arm themselves, the drama plot that could be solved by 2 minutes of dialogue, the high-end ex-military henchman who only has a pistol and doesn't check his area properly, the high-end diversity henchman from an exotic land with an exotic melee weapon in a movie full of guns, the series plot that builds expertly toward a perceived end and then subverts expectations with some half-assed shoot out of nowhere, the series plot that progresses and regresses ad infinitum for stupid reasons to preserve romantic tension, the character that fricks up the plot after literally everyone warned them about exactly that, assholes that learn to be better people and then immediately die, mentors who pass on knowledge or items and immediately die, cute or innocent characters without depth who exist only to die by the villain's hand. I need to stop. Please continue. I mean that genuinely. I'd like to expand on number 2. The horror movie victim who arms themselves, attacks the killer monster once, then drops the weapon and flees. The designated smart character. Except the writers don't know how to write smart people, so they just make every other character, even ones who've been previously established as quite intelligent, become really stupid whenever they're around. Alternatively, the smart person is smart because they use unnecessarily complicated language and scientific terms for everyday things, i.e., I recommend agitating the compound in a homogeneous solution of dihydrogen monoxide and sodium chloride. Huh, what's he saying? He says stir it in salt water. Cue laugh track. A character stepping into the room just in time to finish another person's sentence or otherwise deliver a dramatic line. It's such a TV staple that we've all come to accept it. But when you think about it, it's really unnatural. Like they've been standing outside the door for the last 10 minutes, waiting for their cue. The big tough guy whose sole purpose is to get thrown around like a ragdoll by the latest villain, to show how dangerous they are. The big tough guy whose sole purpose is to get thrown around like a ragdoll by the latest villain, to show how dangerous they are. TV tropes calls this one the Worf effect. I also hate that TV equates being smart with being a pretentious duck. Sassy gay and black female best friends. Also sassy overweight black woman. Honestly, I'd love a show with a sassy black gay main character with an average white best friend. The drama would be a lot more interesting than whatever boring shoot the white kid gets in. Though you need to wait 48 hours before reporting a missing person thing, people believe that it's a real law now. Your TV show making fricks. Even cops will repeat that line. My mom tried to file a missing persons on my brother. They said, well, it hasn't been 48 hours. Lies, it was 3 days since he was last seen, but less than 6 hours after his boss noticed he no-called-no-showed, which was unusual. And it is normal for guys his age to disappear for a few days. It took escalating up the chain before they took it seriously. Sadly, he was found a few hours later by some hikers near the road where he went off the side. We have a related problem in my country. Television writers are too lazy stupid to do proper research. So they use American laws like the 48-hour thing in our shows. 2. It's become so commonplace that many people here don't even know the laws of their own country anymore. The dying trope. Holding a character in your arms and saying everything that needs to be said right before they conveniently die right on time. Most of the time you never get to say goodbye, or the person dying is in a coma. Then, when they die with their eyes open, you just sort of wave your hand around their eyes and they close. And stay closed. Guy likes girl. Girl doesn't like guy. Guy injects himself into girl's life in spite of repeated rejections. Guy gets girl. That's more of how stalking works than functional relationships. LOL, yeah. My teenage self could have done without ever believing that would work. How about, guy likes girl. Girl doesn't like guy. Guy meets different girl that does like him and forgets all about the other one. Now that's some wholesome viewing. Nothing bothers me more than crime shows that solve the case by taking a low resolution picture video and hitting enhance 5 times to read a license plate off of a reflection in someone's eye. The most egregious I ever saw was, I think, late run CSI. A teenager charges into the station with a gun and shoots a cop and takes a main character hostage in an interrogation room. The MC is talking to the kid and offers him a bottled water. The kid drinks it and gives it back, and MC puts the bottle on the table and turns it a bit and looks at the security camera. They realize he wants them to use the shooty little camera in the interrogation room to zoom and enhance enough to see the kid's fingerprints on the bottle and identify him. And then they do that. The Hallmark Christmas movie. Big city business lady has to go to small town for some reason. She and guy meet cute when her Mercedes breaks down on her way to important business meeting. The guy runs the auto shop hardware store his grandpa opened after the war. Probably goes to veterinary school at night or some shoot. Business lady falls in love and learns the true meaning of Christmas TM. And forgets her big city feminism. Over the next 90 minutes I am gonna show you how the solution to all your problems is my penis. Cue the Coldplay. 2 people with compatible sexualities are near each other. Romance. 2 people who like each other. They can't get together for 5 seasons because reasons. Writers. Okay. So this character, right, never talks about sex. Never expresses interest in relationships. Seems to have nothing more than just friends. I don't see why we need to give them a sexuality. It doesn't add to the story. Also writers. 1 season later. Well, the scene involves them with a cute guy girl. Time to make them aggressively sexual. Easy drama. Here we come. Dads who are just clones of Homer Simpson.